Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got another part for the Losi Micro B. We've got GPM part number LMB012FA-B, so it's a blue part, and this is the alloy bulkhead. So let's bring in for a close-up look and see how this part fits. So let's have a quick look at this. It does come in a resealable bag. Hopefully we're not going to need any other parts. So we do get two large screws with it. Be interesting to see where they're for, but that's the bulkhead. Does look really nice machined. So let's start off by removing the body shell. Then we're gonna need our trusty 050 driver, and I think for this one probably gonna be easier if we start by removing these two arms, or as track tie rods. And this is definitely made an awful lot easier with the Enduro ball studs. So that definitely makes your job a whole lot easier. Then we're going to need to take off the actual shock mount. So we've got 4 screws for the shock mount. I'll put these all to one side. It'd be interesting to see if these are all the same length, because then it makes it a lot easier. You can just whip all 4 out and it don't matter where you put them. And this is a whole lot easier when you're not trying to get it all in shot on a camera. Shouldn't be too bad of a task to fit this part. And if we're lucky, them bits might actually stay in the shock mount. Be different if you've got a carbon or an alloy one, because they'll just fall out anyway. But once we get them out, it should hopefully give us enough clearance. We've then got 2 screws on the back of here, so we need to undo them. And from memory, I think these are much longer. Yeah, they're definitely a lot longer screws. And I think just to make it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing, and for me to keep an eye on what I'm doing from this side, I think I'll just take one of the shocks out just to move it out way, and that'll let us rotate the shock tower completely out as road. So if I do that, you should get a better shot. Just don't lose your washers and your screws. So that's got the last of the longer screws out. Then we should be able to pop that out, and you can see the machine and everything, it looks pretty much similar. So it looks like the bits we've got different are the locating pins. It's getting us 2 screws to put in there instead of them. Quite like that idea, should make it a bit more solid. So you just got to be careful. We've got to get these 2 pins, make sure they're seated properly, and then you've got to get them seated into the actual bulkhead as well before it'll clip down on the front of this. So this might be a bit of a challenge to get this all on camera. It looks like it's gone. So once we get them down, we've then got the 2 larger screws that they provide with the actual bulkhead, and it looks like, I think they might be 1.5mm. So they're 1.5mm. So to start with, I'm going to try and get our 2 longer original screws in. They should then line this all up, whilst trying to keep my hand on the front of it to keep it all in place. So I've got one started. Let's see if we can get the other side lined up. Now that does look to me like the actual chassis. So we might need to undo. So I'm just going to slightly back off the bottom screw of that chassis rail just to let it move over and line up. So let's see if we can get these two screws down at first, and then at least it'll hold all bulkhead together for us. So that's got his bulkhead back down. Then I think I would go for these two. So flip back to his 050 driver. I think I'd get these two in just to stop them little pins on his steerer coming out. And again, as much as I like or dislike the Endurer ball studs for the strength of them, the convenience of just being able to whip bits out with a hex driver is really, really good. Then I'm just going to quickly fasten this shock back on. So let's see if our shock tower now lines up. So we should be able to drop that down. It looks like it lines up pretty good. So I'm just going to get them 3 screws started, then switch to our 4th screw. Let's get that in place. So far they do seem to be all screwing in pretty good. So the only thing I did have to do is just back off one of the screws for his actual chassis rail on the front right hand side. So now we've got these 2 new screws to try and coax into the chassis, and that should definitely add some more strength up front. And MIP bits just don't want to let go. So I do like the idea of this, where it's actually screwing into where the stock plastic part just has a lug. So it's really going to add some strength to the front end of the RC. And then finally I'll just tighten that screw back up. That loosened off. But yeah, that's a really nice looking bulkhead. I do like the colour of it. I like the fitment of it. It's not affected as shocks in any way. So shock tower fits perfect. Yeah, does seem really nice. I do like that we've got an extra bit of strength now with the bulkhead screwed down. So with this, it should stop any flex in front, especially if you have some bad landings on barrier on the front bumper and that. But yeah, fits really well. Really like it. Nice colour, nice fitment. So yeah, that's the GPM LMB012FA-B. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the GPM bulkhead, all fitted to the Losi Micro B. Up to now, really liking the Endurer ball studs that we can easily remove them. It's a lot easier than having to pop the ends off, just gently screw them out. And the less times we pop these off, the sort of stronger they are, if that makes any sense. But yeah, another GPM part that fits really, really nice. And it looks like they've not only made it out of aluminium, but they've also added 2 extra screws at the back of it, which should give a lot more strength to that front bit of chassis, especially if you land on the bumper on sort of one of the dividers for track or something. But yeah, it's looking pretty bling now. It's getting very close to finished. I think we've still got a few more bits to do on it. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.
Fire.